All right, let's jump into a deep dive, shall we?
Yeah.
And today we are looking at something, well, something pretty powerful.
Oh,
Um, have you ever heard of an AirMace air cannon?
I have actually.
You have. Well, you're gonna have
Hmm.
to forgive me because this is new territory for me.
Okay, sure.
So, we're talking like seriously heavy-duty cleaning solutions,
Yeah.
like the kind of stuff that blasts away gunk, build up, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And in places that I honestly never even thought about needing to be cleaned before.
That's true. There are a lot of industries that people just don't think about the cleaning.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we're talking about things like giant silos, hoppers, all sorts of industrial equipment. And I've got a product brochure and a YouTube video that shows the AirMace in action.
Cool.
So let's get into it.
All right, sounds good.
So to start off, I want to get a sense of like the scale of the problem we're talking about here.
Okay.
So help me visualize this.
Okay.
What kind of buildup are we talking about? What kind of industries? Paint me a picture.
Well, imagine like a cement plant
Okay.
or a power generation plant.
Okay, got it.
You have tons and tons of material flowing through these systems, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you can get, hardened cement,
Okay.
coal dust, even like solidified chemicals, just clinging to the insides of these huge structures.
Okay, yeah. I'm starting to get a little claustrophobic just thinking about it.
Yeah, and it's not pretty,
No, it doesn't sound pretty at all.
but it's not just about, how it looks.
Yeah.
These buildups cause major problems.
I bet.
Yeah, you get slowdowns, you get safety hazards, you could even have to completely shut down operations.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine a cement plant having to stop production because a silo's clogged. We're talking millions of dollars lost, delays in construction projects. It's a ripple effect.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I guess our superhero of the day comes in, the Air Mace,
Yeah.
right? So this brochure, it's laying it on pretty thick, talking about unmatched power, outstanding performance. But what are we actually dealing with here? What is this thing?
Okay, so it's basically using high pressure air
Okay.
to blast away those materials, that stubborn buildup we're talking about.
Right?
And sometimes it also uses water too.
Water.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
So think of it maybe like a power washer, but, instead of cleaning your deck, it's tackling tons of hardened cement or whatever.
So how does this compare to what they were doing before? Was it just like guys with chisels in there hacking away at it?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you would have people manually chipping away, which takes forever. It's super dangerous.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Or you'd have to shut everything down for days to bring in, big, heavy machinery.
Right, so this is like the quick and easy solution.
Yeah, it's faster, it's safer, and it's more efficient all around.
Okay. So they're really hyping up this Air Mace valve technology.
Hmm.
What is that all about?
So basically, it's all about efficiency. The valve design allows the piston to accelerate really fast.
Okay.
So you get more power behind each blast.
Right, so it's not just blowing air, it's like a concentrated punch of air.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, one thing that kind of surprised me in the brochure was all this talk about air savings.
Yeah, that seems counterintuitive.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you're using blast of air to clean. How do you save air?
Well, this is where the design gets really clever.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So they use a spring-free piston return mechanism.
I'm not an engineer. Break that down for me.
Okay, so basically it means it takes less energy to reset the piston for the next blast.
Got it.
And that translates to up to 40% less air consumption compared to older air cannons.
So it's like more power, but less energy.
Exactly.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, especially when you think about industrial scale operations where energy costs are through the roof.
Yeah, the 40% could really add up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so we've talked air power,
Yeah.
but they also mentioned this optional water injection thing.
Yes, that's another cool feature.
I'm picturing like a super soaker hooked up to this thing.
Haha. Well, not quite.
Okay.
But the idea is that adding water to the air blast makes a huge difference.
How so?
Well, think about it. Water is much denser than air.
Okay, yeah.
The YouTube video actually shows this really well.
Oh, I gotta check that out later.
Yeah, you should.
Okay.
But yeah, adding even a little bit of water to that air blast, it increases the cleaning force dramatically.
So I'm guessing that's helpful for certain types of buildup.
Yeah, it's really useful for dealing with high temperature buildup.
Okay, that makes sense.
You're basically taking advantage of the difference in density between water and air to increase that cleaning force. It goes up like almost 1,000 times.
Wow. Okay. So you've got all this power at your disposal. But practically speaking, how user-friendly is this thing? What about maintenance? I imagine it's a pain.
Actually, maintenance is really straightforward with the AirMace.
Really? That surprises me.
They've really focused on making it easy to maintain. The piston is the main part that needs attention,
Okay.
and they designed it to be super easy to replace. You don't have to take the whole unit apart, which saves a lot of time and hassle.
Well, that's a relief. Because I was picturing like, hazmat suits and all sorts of crazy stuff to work on this thing.
No, nothing like that.
Okay, good.
They kept it simple.
All right, so the brochure mentions the company, Flow Industries, and they've been around for a while, right?
Since 1997.
Okay, so they know their stuff.
Yeah, they've been tackling these kinds of industrial flow problems for quite a while.
So the AirMace is like their latest and greatest?
Yeah, it's their latest innovation.
Okay,
They call it a winning combination of unique technology and economy.
that makes sense. So for those of us who, don't work in these massive industrial settings, what's the takeaway here? Why should we care about the AirMace?
Well, I think it's a great example of how innovation can solve really specific and sometimes pretty obscure problems.
Right, and problems that have real-world consequences.
Exactly.
Like it's easy to forget about all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes to, you know, make our lives function.
Yeah, it's easy to take it for granted.
Yeah. So the next time you see a giant silo or a cement truck,
Yeah.
think about all the work that goes into keeping those things running smoothly
Yeah.
and maybe give a little nod to the AirMace for keeping things clean.
Uh-huh. Exactly.
So before we wrap up, I got to ask, thinking outside the box here,
Sure.
do you think this kind of technology could be applied to other areas beyond just, industrial cleaning?
That's a good question. It's definitely worth thinking about.
Yeah, like what about environmental cleanup?
Yeah, or maybe disaster relief.
Yeah, I could see it being useful in situations like that. So, who knows what the future holds for the AirMace.
Yeah, it's exciting to think about.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive. If you're interested in learning more about the AirMace,
Yeah, definitely check it out.
we've got links to the full product brochure and that YouTube video we mentioned. And